Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to CripChat weekly podcast on everything disability. As usual, we have Ibby and Daoud, and we're glad to be joined by Samantha Connor. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, Samantha. How's everything going?
Thanks, you. Well, I'm waiting for a COVID test after being pinged as an exposure, so a little bit twitchy at the moment, but they decided to keep the borders closed in WA, so we're pretty happy about that. And we're just dealing with lots of issues nationally, as you know, around COVID, and as always, the land of disability and NDIS.
Yeah, it's a scary world out there that we're living in. Look, the idea of letting it rip in the community. What are your thoughts on that, Samantha?
Yeah, so letting it rip, I mean, a lot of people at the beginning of this, we talked about eugenics, the idea that, that a portion of the community can die, and, we could kill off a portion of the community. And everyone laughed at that at the start, and now I don't think anybody's laughing at that anymore. It's a bad idea, obviously. 46 people.
Oh, this is a good one, Samantha. So yeah, as Samantha was saying, the idea of just letting people die because of the virus. People with disability are mostly vulnerable. And we have Samantha back. And so, welcome back, Samantha. Sorry, we lost you there.
We lost you. Yeah, sorry about that. The idea was that, to let it rip is, obviously 10 million people, because it's not just people with disability who are NDIS participants or a small portion of the community or even older people or Aboriginal people. There's 10 million Australians who are at risk of COVID or severe illness or death. And so letting it...
10 million. Oh, and we lost Samantha. Sorry, everyone. We have a bit of an outage. But in saying that, people with disability are vulnerable and they're being forced to live in a unprotected society. They're always risking their lives every day, just going out to the local supermarket, getting their groceries, getting their necessities. They are risking their lives every day. And so we shouldn't leave.
Talking about
Yeah,
Ibby and Samantha, talking about risking their lives, we have people with disabilities also have support workers.
yeah.
And those support workers also have to get out there and risk their lives too,
Yep.
and come back to people with disabilities and expose us.
That's right, David. Exactly. Sorry we lost you there, Samantha. Welcome back.
That's all right. Got some problems with the line. And the other thing is that we can't effectively isolate.
Oh, how we keep losing Samantha. Nah, it's all good. My apologies, everyone. But let us know your thoughts for the people that are watching. What do you think of the idea of letting it rip here in Australia?
And how are you protecting
yourself.
Yeah, because health and safety is our number one priority.
Yeah, please share. How are you protecting yourself, and is it working for you?
Yeah, but speaking about the health and safety of people with disability right here in Australia, do you see how the government is responding to this? So they're just saying, live with the virus. Just go out there, live with the virus. It's okay for
Well,
people.
you got. It's either they're probably talking about you either stay at home
Yep,
and get depressed,
yep,
and some people have mental breakdowns,
yep.
or go live with the virus and
Mhm.
get immune to it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly, David. Samantha.
I reckon I should just be quiet and listen to you guys talking. WA's
It's all good.
further away than we thought.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on, accessing, rapid antigen tests? That's a big problem that we're facing right here in Australia, especially for people with
Yeah.
disability.
They're not the be all and end all of everything, and not all of them are actually efficient for Omicron as well, which is something that people don't necessarily know. You might have heard people say, oh, I tested positive to a PCR test and negative to a RAT, or the other way around. So they're not everything. There's also social distancing, and there's also washing hands and all that kind of stuff, and good air ventilation. But for people with disability, they're a really important part of preventative stuff, to know people coming into our homes to give us personal care. That it means that people will be, might be safe. So in other countries.
So, so we lost Samantha there again. Yeah, but people are, I guess, finding it hard to access rapid antigen tests. What do you think, Jonathan? Are you able to access RAT?
So, currently, I've been able to access rapid antigen test, but it's mainly through the private market. I think it is negligent and says a lot about the current government that yet again people with disabilities are the last consideration. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look, I think people with disability, given their state of vulnerability, they should be made priority in accessing rapid antigen tests. And
If you're talking about the rapid tests,
yeah,
people with disability, one,
yeah,
though,
yeah,
some people can't use it by themselves, but and a lot of people don't know how to do it properly, and they get the wrong reading.
yeah. Yeah. So it's
That's
not
why.
quite reliable, is it?
Okay, but
Yeah,
there's
I
there's a lot less doing it.
Yep, yep.
I think it actually is a broader conversation. Look, the disability community has made so much progress with the NDIS and other initiatives, but when the nation is faced by what is a humanitarian crisis, we're left second to last.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess, look, even for people that are able-bodied as well, the rapid antigen test, not many people can get access to it. It's hard enough as it is, for people with disability to, I guess, get access to it.
And the question, some people actually like to buy it and sell it for more,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Make a
that's
profit
wrong.
out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a comment from Julie. So, hi everyone. It's very concerning. Yeah, it's a very concerning situation with the attitudes of both governments. Our health and safety is the number one priority, and unfortunately, we are left in a vulnerable situation. But we need to continue to take safety precautions when going out. Exactly, Julie. Just what on with that? Just being careful, you know, monitoring your health, practicing safety measures to avoid getting the virus.
But can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Are you still going out? Like in the community, I'm sensing a palpable fear about engaging in the community, especially in New South Wales, where we've let it rip. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look,
Johnson, yes, I am trying to actually spend my time do what I used to do, but these days everything is not as it was before.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, look, for me, I just do my usual activities, go to the office and then come back home. Making sure that I wear the mask when I'm surrounded by people. I monitor my health. And if I have any symptoms, then the best thing I will do is I can work from home. But in saying that, I do need access to the rapid antigen test to see whether or not I do have the virus. Welcome back, Samantha.
Thank you. I managed to get the computer working. So sorry about the low quality of resolution. So yeah.
How is it in Western Australia? Obviously, there are quite low cases, but wasn't sort of the mood in the community.
I'm currently sitting right in the middle of a hotspot of different of cases at the moment, which is why I'm waiting for a COVID test and why we've been pinged. So this is our first really, I guess, outbreak that is a bit more out of control than we've had in the past, which isn't very much many cases. You know, we still have a contact register and, you know, exposure sites and contact tracing. The PWDA offices, People with Disability Australia, are in Queensland and Sydney. Our head office is in Sydney, so we're pretty aware of, you know, what it looks like everywhere else. And most of our friends are in the eastern states, so, you know, right in the middle of everything. So I guess there's two parts. One is that we've had this, you know, feeling of safety here for a really long time, and now it doesn't feel safe at all. And I think it depends on what kind of disability you have as well, because there hasn't been much information coming to us as people with disability about, you know, people like us who we know have caught COVID and have become really crook, you know. So for me, as someone who has muscular dystrophy, I'm a wheelchair user, but I also have a thing that has heart and lung complications. So, you know, I'm at risk, but there's no research online. There's not really much information about other people who have caught it. And so we're in this bit of a weird situation where we don't really know, but it's just terrifying. So most people I know with my type of disability are, you know, well and truly locked away wherever they are, and really, really scared of catching it, which is a pretty sensible way to feel, I think.
Exactly. I'm pretty much in the same situation as you, Samantha. I also have muscular dystrophy on a wheelchair. Heart and lung conditions. Yeah, look, I do have slight heart and lung conditions, but like I said, it's all about monitoring the symptoms and acting to the best measures when you do feel cool.
Yeah, and also if you like the other thing is like for personal care, right? So it depends if you've got a carer or, you know, informal carer who's family carer who can stay in the house with you, or if it's someone who, you know, if you rely on paid support, or you have a lot of casual people coming in, you know, how do you make sure those people are safe? Because the more people you're exposed to, then the more, you know, the more you're at risk. So there's a lot of and if you share a house with poor ventilation, for example, you know, in a crowded type of house, or, you know, you just, you know, have a lot of family members. I got 6 kids, you know, so lucky they're not all little. But, you know, there's a lot of things that people can think about. But I think there's a lot of things that we can do to keep ourselves safe as well.
Exactly. Yeah, so
Look, I consider myself in a lucky position because I live at home with parents who do the bulk of my personal care, but I'm curious to hear what are the sort of day-to-day experiences of people who primarily rely on support workers.
yeah, look, I can only imagine the situation that would be involved in having a sister myself who's also got a muscular dystrophy condition, and she unfortunately requires personal care. So So every day she has a personal care, I guess, come and help her in the bathroom and stuff. But it's saying that there's been cases where they've catch the virus and they had to isolate. The
and
question
and
now
this
is where do we go from there?
and the other thing is, as people with disability, we've been trained not to talk about our various disabilities, right? Because we have to think about the social model of disability, and so now it's become really relevant, right? So now we're kind of going, oh shit, like, am I going to die of this thing? What does this mean? So I'd look at Jonathan and go, well, you're a fit young bloke, you'll be fine. You have cerebral palsy, right? I have no idea what disability is, and I'm just assuming because you have an accent. And so
I do have cerebral palsy.
that
Nice
was a really good guess. So, but I've never had that conversation with Jonathan because I'm not a stranger in a supermarket and we don't really consider it relevant.
Yep.
And the same thing with, Ibby probably has like a completely different type of muscular dystrophy to me. And then, David, are you blind, David? I'll just assume
Yeah,
you're
he's
blind.
blind.
I've
He's
just
got
assumed that
vision.
you're wearing glasses. That's the only reason. And so, it's kind of a thing where, for David might not be able to read rapid antigen tests by himself, right? Or know to stay away from people for social distancing. And
Yeah.
so Jonathan might need more care than the rest of us. So we've got all these different circumstances.
But see, I'm in a position where I want to be compliant. I want to wear masks and socially distance, but I also have saliva issues. I have an unstable gait which makes it challenging for me to consciously socially distance. So I've been in a situation where
Johnson,
for the bulk of the lockdown, I did my physical therapy via telehealth. But when I returned to telehealth, they required me to wear a face mask. Now I think the attitudes of providers are mainly based on being hyper protectionist, adhering to health safety. My point is sometimes policy is not implemented on a case by case basis.
And Some of the
Jonathan, it's a bit hard to socially distance when you can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we all have these tricky things. We were talking to someone who's about to go and talk to some people in health now, federally, and I was saying, look, it would be really good instead of saying, nobody can have access to rapid antigen tests or everyone can have access to a particular form of whatever, or it costs too much money for this. If we had some guidance around risk. So there's a thing called the Swiss cheese model of risk. And so if you think about a hazard, so something that can hurt you, and you think about a whole bunch of Swiss cheese slices, the plastic cheese that you have that has holes in it. And if you have all of those Swiss cheese slices lined up, then you can't poke your finger through all the holes in all of them mostly. So that's a good analogy to use around, something falling through all the gaps. You just line them up in different ways. So we think about all those things being ways that can protect us. So you've got, test and trace, you've got rapid antigen tests, you've got PCR tests, you've got social distancing, having enough air ventilation, all of those things lined up with each other. And then if we think about ourselves, like as Jonathan said, on a case-by-case basis, it should be that we're able to assess our own risk. And I think one of the things we can do is to start looking at developing some guidance for people with disability about what that might look like. And it might look like for David that, David gets support with reading a rapid antigen test, right? Or it might look like me, being able to get to go to a testing place, because if you don't drive, there's no way to get there except in a rideshare vehicle, and you can't go on public transport because you get a $50,000 fine. And if you go, nobody will pick you up from a COVID clinic in a rideshare vehicle, So, the testing people are here. Oh my God. Can we just make this a live thing? I'd love it. I'd love it. It's disabled people. Of course we will. The testing people are here.
Nice. Anyway, look, thank you very much for joining us, Samantha.
No, I'm gonna stay on, guys. I'm gonna stay on and see if the testing people would let us do this on there.
Nice. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Jonathan, do you have any kind of thoughts on this issue?
Look, it's simple.
Let me introduce you to the testing people before I
go. It should be case by case and letting it rip. Doesn't work. So let's all think about making some noise. Tell the government what we really need as a community. And if they don't come up with the solution, then it's up to all of us to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, good stuff.
Sorry, I didn't get that, guys, because we just got lots of people talking. But
it's all good.
Jonathan, I'm really happy to come back on because we had lots of disruptions, but also any of our other board members. But I'll take my tiara and get a thing shoved up my nose and go get tested. But thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you
for joining us.
And we wish you all the very best with your test.
Thanks, Ibby. Bye, David.
All right, thank you. Thank you. David.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. What are your final thoughts on this matter?
I think if people with disabilities don't want to go out and in the community and are afraid, maybe they can stay more at home, but and try to do the do everything safely the way they feel comfortable. But we need more rapid tests, and we need to be more vigilant.
Yeah, yeah. I think we need to bring the awareness to the government that we need the access to these RATs. They're very important because most of us do have support workers, and we do
Johnson,
provide access.
they're trying to get.
Yeah,
That's the thing. They know it's important to us, but they're trying to get it.
yeah.
If there's
So
a
yeah,
shortage,
But the thing is, the way they're doing it, it's a very convoluted process, and really in the future, rapid antigen tests will become as important as bread and milk. So we need to think about this as an essential supply and end this trying to let the free market determine access, and I leave the last word to our last comment from Mim.
yeah. So yeah, we need. Yeah, he agrees with us. More rapid tests need to be out there. Look, hopefully things will change. We'll get access to these rapid antigen tests. The government will be able to get, I guess, more in stock, and we'll see how things go. But for now, stay safe, everyone. Remember, follow the health orders. If you're feeling unwell, try to get PCR test done, or just stay at home and monitor your symptoms. So you've been watching CripChat, everyone, and hopefully we will see you next week. Goodbye for now.